If you're planning for an early retirement, as in you're not going to wait until 65 when you can go on Medicare, then this might be of interest to you. I'm going to talk about one of the most under planned for expenses for early retirees, and that's private medical. When you work for an employer, there's a high probability that you have medical insurance through that company for you and possibly for your spouse. When you go to retire, unless you work for a company or you work in the public sector, there's a high probability that you're not going to have any medical benefits in retirement. And therefore, you're going to have to go to the healthcare exchange, or in California, we call it Covered California. And today, I'm going to show you a hypothetical of what the potential premiums are for a private medical plan for somebody that is getting ready to retire but does not have medical insurance through their employer in retirement. Now that we understand that private medical is a major factor in early retirement planning, let's look at what that cost potentially could look like. Now, not everybody will pay the same premium. It depends on your income. There are some premium subsidies available if your income is low enough. And with proper financial planning leading up to an early retirement, there's a chance that you could set yourself up to receive a premium break if your income is low enough. It all depends on the planning that you do in advance of that early retirement event. This particular case, I'm not assuming there are any medical subsidies available for this couple, which, by the way, they are 60 and 59 in this example, getting ready to retire. This is the Covered California website. Every state has their own type of exchange, or they're on Obamacare. Just Google your state's health insurance plan. Do a little internet research, and you'll probably be able to find something similar to this, where you can get a general idea of what a monthly premium would look like. So with that in mind, 60 and 59, let's take a look at some of the premiums, and then we'll jump into how we incorporate this into the financial plan. So HMOs, silver plans, Covered California, they have it all. Bronze plans start at $1,600 a month, and they go up to $2,600 a month for a bronze plan. If you want to go silver, the low end or the high end is $3,200 a month. The low end is $1,700 a month. Gold, you get the point. It gets pretty expensive, all the way up to almost $4,000 a month for a gold PPO through Blue Shield of California. Everybody's needs are going to be a little bit different. Obviously, as I had mentioned, there's the medical subsidy component, but also what type of medical coverage do you think you need? Do you go to the doctor a lot? Are you on a lot of prescriptions? Do you have some health issues? Therefore, you may need to consider a more of a Cadillac type of a plan, which is going to be very expensive. Versus if you don't go to the doctor very frequently, you don't at this time have major medical issues, maybe you can go with a lower plan. Also, you could change every single year. You can change your plan. So if you have a medical procedure that you know is going to be coming up, if you want better coverage in a specific year, you can change your plan one year to the next. But the point is that this is a major expense for somebody that is looking to retire early, and it needs to be factored into the financial plan. Now that we have a general idea of what the premium could be, depending upon the plan, on the medical plan, let's jump into the client's financial plan and see how we incorporate this. Now, everybody's needs are going to be different. Somebody may need more of a Cadillac plan. So you could be easily spending over $3,000 a month for a couple on private medical insurance if you're not qualifying for a subsidy. If you have major medical needs, you go to the doctor frequently, maybe you have some health issues, you may need a higher quality plan. For this case, I just assumed little need, therefore middle of the road type of a medical insurance plan. And for a 60 and 59-year-old, the current cost is approximately, for a middle of the road plan is a little over $1,000 a month. So we're assuming between Theo and Cassie, they're a little over $1,000 a month on their premium, plus some additional out-of-pocket expenses. So now we also need to factor in inflation at 4% per year. And it's the exact same for Theo. So now we have the expense embedded into the plan. Now let's take a look at what the future cost is and kind of look at it in conjunction with other expenses that Theo and Cassie are going to incur when they retire. Now, we've done the research. We found a plan that seems reasonable. We've factored in the cost of living adjustment at 4%. Here it is as a part of the client's overall cash flow plan. When Theo and Cassie go to retire, we are going to immediately go on to private medical. They have to. So all of a sudden, they're going to have this out-of-pocket expense. Factoring in inflation of 4%, in future dollars, when Cassie's retired, it's about $18,000 per year for the premium plus the out-of-pocket expenses. So between the two of them, that's $36,000 that just needs to be dedicated to medical expenses. And that expense carries through all the way until age 65. So every single year, if we assume that that cost of medical is going to increase at 4% a year, again, not qualifying for a subsidy, 4% a year goes from 18,000 to almost 23,000 by the time Theo switches from private medical to Medicare, which also is incorporated into the client's plan. So you can see here's Cassie's at $23,000 a year, and then she switches over to Medicare, again, taking into consideration inflation, about $13,000 per year. So the point with this is that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is something that is underappreciated, if you will, in terms of a major cost associated with early retirement. And you make sure that you do the proper planning in terms of savings and dedicating assets for it. And also start to think about ways that you can possibly reduce income in those early years of retirement, taking advantage of different retirement income strategies to try to qualify for subsidy to bring that cost down.